All right, welcome back. Let's talk about some limits on federal power and some interstate responsibilities. Not relationships, set responsibilities. All right, so these are some things that are mentioned directly in the Constitution, some liberties that are found there as opposed to the amendments. One is the writ of habeas corpus. This means that a person accused of a crime must be brought to a judge and be charged with a crime or released. Why does that matter? Well, to prevent illegal arrest. The idea here is that police cannot arrest somebody and just have them sit in jail forever. If they get arrested, they have to be brought to a judge in a timely manner. That's usually considered to be about 48 hours. And they have to be charged with a crime or released if there's not enough evidence against them. Congress is not allowed to make a bill of attainder. So that's why that word no is there in parentheses. This is the definition of what it is. Again, remembering that they are not allowed to do this. A bill of attainder is a law created by Congress that declares a person guilty without a trial. This would be Congress passing a law that says LaManna is guilty of X, Y, and Z, and they send me to jail without giving me a trial. They are not allowed to do that. Therefore, there can be no bill of attainder. They also are not allowed to make any ex post facto laws. Ex post facto means after the fact. So, if today it is legal for you to come to school, and I presume that it is, hopefully it stays that way, and tomorrow the government would make a tragically awful law saying it is a crime to attend high school, they could not arrest you for having done it the day before because when you did it, it was still legal. So they can't arrest you for something that they make illegal after the fact. All right, and then we have just a couple things to do with interstate relationships, so about the states between one another. We have the full faith and credit clause, which is the idea that each state must honor the legal decisions of other states. So if a state allowed you to do something, or they gave you a driver's license because you passed their driver's license requirements, you're allowed to drive through the other state. If they marry you in Florida, you don't got to get married again in Georgia. You're still married. So if you are guilty of a crime in Florida, you are guilty of that crime in Georgia. So you are still a convicted felon or have the misdemeanor on your record, whatever the case is. Of course, driver's licenses, if you move to a state, they can require you to take their own test and to get their driver's license. But if I'm going on a road trip from here to California and I drive through 15 different states, I'm good. I have my Florida driver's license. Full faith and credit clause says I'm all right. I can do that. Privileges and immunities clause says that states cannot discriminate against citizens from other states. So they can't pass laws that say you're only allowed to, so in Florida you can only hire people from Florida and not from Georgia when it comes to getting a job. They can't do that. Publix can't charge different prices for groceries to Florida residents and to Georgia residents. They're not allowed to do that either. If you can think of some things that might sound like exceptions to that, like Disney World or college, we can talk about that in class. But I promise it does not violate privileges and immunities clause. And lastly, states have to have they have agreed to extradite each other's criminals or suspects. So extradition means that states must send suspected or convicted criminals back to the original state. So somebody commits murder in Florida, they run away, get caught in Washington state. The state of Washington will send them back to Florida to stand trial. If this video helped you, please don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button for me, please. I really appreciate it. You guys have been great. This has been a LaMoney production. Saucing on you. I'm swagging on